Morning everybody, Griffin Dahlberg here with Twin Cities Peppers, and today, welcome back. We're going to have another grow update number 3. Today is June 23rd, 2020, so let's get straight into it. As you guys might already know, this is the Carolina Reaper. Really putting on a lot of good growth, 25-gallon pot. Pretty excited with how this thing is actually producing already and growing at such a fast rate. You can see under here we got some peppers. Not sure if this is just a different pheno of the Reaper or what, but these are a little bit more elongated. They do have their tails and they're a little bit smoother than other Reapers I've seen. But yeah, as you can see, really loading up underneath there. Some good sized peppers. And once those start turning red, you'll really notice how many are on there. It kind of blends in with the green, but yeah, trust me, there's quite a few on there. So that's our Carolina Reaper. Moving on, we got our TS Moruga Yellow times Yellow Brain Strain. Something about this plant that really impresses me is how big these shoots have gotten. Can you guys just see that? Here's my pinky. Look at how wide those things are. No peppers on it yet, but it's starting to produce some flowers, and it's just really booming. So again, 25-gallon pot. Moving on, I made a kind of a cage for this. It's the Ahi White Fantasy. These like to get a little bit, this thing's been stretching a little bit. There's nothing wrong with stretching. These Ahis are pretty known to, need support. But you can see the internodal spacing is a little bit more than you'd normally see. Not bad, but it definitely just means that it's growing and using the nutrients that are available to it, and that when it has enough nutrient content in the root zone, you're going to see this kind of stretching, because if it has the energy or it has the food, it's going to want to get close to the sun. That's just natural. That's why plants grow. So as you can see, we got a lot of peppers on it as well. Very pretty peppers. Some getting kind of large here. But yeah, Ahi White Fantasy. It's the white variant of the Ahi Fantasy. So moving on, another similar to the Ahi, Sugar Rush Cream. You can see how this is stretching. Internodal spacing is very long. Not a bad thing. I'm gonna have to create kind of a stake system like this and kind of support it, because once it starts putting peppers on, it might not be able to hold its own weight. So I really like to kind of keep these things neat and tidy. So yeah, I'll have to build something around that, but not a big deal. Definitely worth it in the end. So Ahi White Fantasy. Moving on is our Scotch Brain. If you guys saw any of my Instagram posts lately, or on Twin Cities or Pepper Lovers community, I've been posting to that a little bit. You would have seen the pretty nasty pods that I'm getting on this thing. That's a really cool looking one right there. Yeah, they got some tails on them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, putting on some peppers, definitely doing well, growing, just what you like to see. Under here, guys, I really cleaned up the bottoms of these. We'll go around and kind of notice that. I don't like any of the leaves to really be touching the ground. That just invites pests and other disease and stuff. Invites them in to the canopy of the plant, which we really don't want. So I cleaned up all the leaves that were potentially touching the ground or looked like they were going to, and yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. You got good airflow underneath there, and less chance of mold or whatever else have you. So if you guys haven't already done that, I suggest really kind of cleaning up the bottom and just making it look pretty, because that's always nice. So Scotch Brain. Moving on is our Peach Reaper. Definitely stretching a little bit, but again, it's good. We like to see growth, and when it grows fast, it's going to stretch out a little bit. So Peach Reaper is not putting on any flowers yet. Actually, I think it might have one, but I'm not sure. No flowers. So That's okay. We don't really want that to happen yet. The plant's not ready for it. So this is the caramel bhut, or BIH. Can you guys clarify for me? Bit Jalokia, which is like BIH, versus bhut, BHUT. Is there a difference, and if so, what is it? I'm just going to call it a caramel bhut or caramel ghost. But yeah, it's looking really good. If you guys look at my last video, you'll see definite increase in size, and you know, just so vigorous right now. It's growing so vigorous. Really doing well, so super happy about that. There's flowers on it, which is good to see. A couple mantises hanging out in there. You can see them. But yeah, this is the caramel ghost, I'll call it, until you guys kind of help me clarify that. Here, you guys, this is our 7-pot gigantic orange, and I'll show you why they call it the 7-pot gigantic. Look at the size of these peppers. You see those? Huge. Huge, and they're not done growing. They keep getting bigger. So 7-pot gigantic orange. Loving how it's looking. Alright guys, moving on. Here's our Bootla bubblegum 7-pot chocolate. Doing very well as well. We got some peppers on it. I'll show you underneath. So yeah, doing really well, and just love to see all the new growth. I'll give it about 2 weeks before most of these plants are going to be touching. You know, at least in this direction, and then, you know, 3-4 weeks we'll see it touching in this direction. So, you know, with the way this one's growing right now, this is our, so that was our Bootla bubblegum 7-pot chocolate. But moving on to this one, it's the Moruga scorpion. You guys, oh my gosh, is this thing ever getting big? Look at my first video and you guys will be shocked at how short time, how much, you know, it's very little time has passed, and the growth it's had is just unbelievable. So this is the Moruga scorpion. We got a couple pods on it, hanging out under here, but I'm just really loving how this one's looking. It's doing so well. So yeah, this is the Moruga scorpion. Moving on, here's our Aleppo pepper. Doing fairly well. These guys haven't been growing nearly as fast as some of the others, but definitely putting on some peppers. Again, this is my all-time favorite pepper, named after a city in Syria. Jalapeno heat, a little bit more, but just the texture and all around, just my favorite for everything. Good on pretty much anything, and very tolerable. You know, I can't be eating super hots all the time, just for the sake of my own stomach. But definitely like to dabble a little bit. Alright guys, moving on here. Here's our Moruga red monster, as we now know it to be. No longer even considering it to potentially be a Bolivian rainbow, because it's definitely not. Moruga red monster it is. Doing really well. You guys can definitely tell the difference. And my God, you guys, this is my smallest plant when I planted it out, and it's just absolutely blown up. So really good to see. Not too many peppers on it. I actually took a couple off just because I wanted it to grow a little bit more, and yeah, it's flowering up again, doing really nice. Definitely pretty vigorous growth, so it's always good to see. That's the Moruga red monster. Up next, our purple pumpkin. And this one was growing the fastest, and it has since slowed to kind of focus on fruit production, which is not a big deal. These should be ripe here in the next 3 weeks, and yeah, then it will continue to grow. I'm not saying, you guys, that it completely stops growing when it starts setting on peppers, but it definitely rapidly slows it down a little bit. And you know, it kind of depends on what type of pepper you're growing. Some are different than others. So yeah, this is the purple pumpkin. Here is our apocalypse scorpion. Definitely growing quite a bit. Little friend hanging out here. Put peppers on it. So what's going to happen here, you guys, is you can see that indentation in the middle. That top portion is going to overlap that bottom portion, and that's where it gets its look from. So if you guys look at the pictures of the apocalypse scorpion, you guys will definitely see that and be able to tell what it's doing there. So kind of cool. Yeah, it's the apocalypse scorpion. Here, you guys, we have our chocolate scotch bonnet. Obviously doing really well. If you guys were watching my first video, I kind of called this one out for being a little bit spindly and, you know, kind of weak, small looking, but you know, it's really made a, you know, really good growth spurt since then. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how it's looking. I've since stopped picking out flowers. I think it's ready to start putting on pods. So yeah, we do have a couple peppers on it, and yeah, it's just, I love this pepper. It's gonna get so big. These plants get really big, these scotch bonnets. So this is the chocolate scotch bonnet. Here we got the Freeport orange scotch bonnet, also doing very well. You can see there's a couple peppers on it. Overall, looking really good. So happy to see that. Alright guys, here is our in-ground Carolina Reaper. Hasn't really changed too much in size, but I believe that has something to do with these nasty peppers. You remember that first Carolina Reaper, the first plant I showed you, how the pepper's a little bit smoother? This is what I'm talking about. This is a little bit more typical of a Reaper. The tail with the bumpy texture. But yeah, looking pretty dang nasty. Pretty nasty, which is what you gotta love. You love to see it. You love to see it, so doing well. Here's our Mucho Nacho flowering up. A little bit hotter jalapeno, I guess. Got another one right there, both doing pretty well. Here is our goat's horn. Definitely putting on some peppers. Looking very well, very good. So that's our goat's horn. Here's our purple jalapeno. Putting on some purple flowers. And let me walk around here. Here's our in-ground Aleppo pepper. Some big Aleppos on there. Love to see it, love to see it. And then we have our Darth Maul. The growth of this one has really just stopped, and it's just, you know, has to do with it, putting on peppers. And trying to focus more on peppers. There's some pretty nasty looking peppers on it. So Darth Maul from Fada's Peppers. And then this one, you guys, I got to keep an eye on this one. Not too worried, but you can see it's got some spots on it. Could potentially be fungus or a virus or disease or whatever, corona potentially. But I will, you know, keep you guys posted on this one. And if you guys have seen these spots, if you wouldn't mind letting me know in the description kind of what your thoughts are on that. Not in the description, in the comments. That would be fantastic. So, oh, sorry, that's the Reaper times Jay's Peach Ghost. So I'm actually really excited about that one. So I really hope I can, you know, figure out what's going on and pull through. So, but yeah, this is the Reaper times Jay's Peach Ghost. I really appreciate you guys tuning in here at Twin Cities Peppers. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'm also going to be posting a video on kind of what I do for feeding here shortly, so stay tuned for that. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out. So I appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.